Management Studio contains a wealth of information that you can use to inform decisions, make operational efficiencies, and improve end user experience. I'm Matt Walker, and in this video I'm going to show you some of the ways in which we do that. One of the easiest ways to view the information that you've got in Management Studio is by using the dashboards. These are great ways of providing a high-level view of the estate as it is today and allow project managers to track progress and identify potential bottlenecks. And what's more, it's really easy to create new dashboards and edit existing ones. We've got a series of pre-built reports that simply drag onto your new dashboard and can apply filters and change the data sources. These can also be made public and shared with other team members. So let's take a look at one of these dashboards in more detail. You can see we've got a variety of different ways of presenting the information, from charts, heat maps and pure data. And we can also look at individual rows or entries in these charts in more detail. So I'm just going to look at the users that are still unidentified. If I select the row, I can open up these users directly in a data mining report. The data mining feature within Management Studio really allows you to dive deep into your data. We can bring in information from other modules, we can layer on readiness status, we can group by blueprints, and we can also use expressions to really hone into a specific set of criteria. So here we're looking at our users. I want to add devices to this list. Maybe I also want to see how far along the applications are for those users. And when I run this, the report will bring all this information together for me in one place. You can see we have user migrations, our applications, and the status down here, and also the devices that those users are using. I can take this one step further and add blueprints to this. So if I just choose our departments and then rerun the report. And we'll see now we've got, just over the side, the blueprints that each of those users are a member of. This allows us to start asking questions like, which of my users based in the London office has got a machine that's ready to go and uses Adobe Photoshop? We can get really specific. There are a lot more features in this, and I suggest that you take a look at our knowledge base article on using the data mining report. So now we've got our report. If I want to save that, I can just flip over to our menu and save this as a brand new report. As with the dashboards, we can make this visible to all users and simply just select save. Now if I want to run that report again, I can come into my user migrations module, select all the users and choose it from the option in the data mining report menu. And what's more, I can share this with colleagues by using the share via email option. And that email contains a link to the data mining report I've just been working on. If I open that in Management Studio, it selects the same modules, the same fields, and automatically runs the report for me. So we're just scratching the surface here of what we can do with the data mining report. There's more in-depth information on our knowledge base, and I do suggest that you go check that out if you want to learn more. Now let's move on from reporting and talk about how we structure the data within the organisation. There are two ways that we can do this, and the first is by using something called blueprints. This is just a logical way of grouping information that makes most sense to your business. So let me show you what I mean. If I go into the blueprints, by default we create blueprints for department and location. I can choose business development, business analytics, and it filters the grid showing me all the users that are in business analytics. I can easily assign a user to a particular blueprint or remove them from a particular blueprint without changing the core data that was brought in at import. Blueprints can also be used to create departmental stacks. So for our business analytics department, we might associate certain applications with that particular department. When a user moves into or out of that department, we can change the applications that are associated to that user. The other way we control data in Management Studio is by using processes. If you look to the left of my screen, you'll see I've got 5 core processes that relate to the user's journey in a user migration. If I expand the validating process, I've got several sub-processes, so I can be quite specific about where that user is at a particular point in time. And then if I click one of these sub-processes, it will update the grid to show me only users that appear in that process. It's also really easy to move users in process. We can do this in bulk or on an individual basis. we just select the user, we choose move to process, and move them to the process that they want to belong to, and they've gone. But what's really nice about processes is it gives us a view of where things are right now at a very quick glance. We can see that we have 161 users that have had their survey sent. So the real power comes when we attach automation trigger points to our processes. So for example, a user is added to the validating stage and an email is automatically sent out to that user. That's what we're going to show you next. So let's take a look at automation in Management Studio. I'm going to show you two examples, and we'll start with the ESM servicing plans. These are set to run on a predefined schedule, and in this example it's going to run at 12 PM and on weekdays. When the plan runs, we need to tell it to look for particular criteria before it does anything. In this case, it's going to be looking to ensure that the user is in a particular process and that a value exists in their migration record. We don't just have to look for fields though, we can also look in blueprints, SCCM collections, Active Directory, we can compare fields as well, and also run PowerShell scripts. If that criteria has been satisfied, we then need to tell the service plan what to do. So in my case, we are sending the user validation survey request email, and once that has been successfully sent, we'll move the user into a new process, and we'll set a couple of tracking fields that we've got in the user's migration record. And like before, we can change what it is that we actually want to do. So at the moment we are looking to send an email, but we can set the values to a particular field, we can copy values from another field, we can add and remove from an AD group, add and remove from an SCCM collection, automatically schedule, run PowerShell, add notes, assign a particular object to a user, move a process and add them to a blueprint. There's a lot to choose from there. So that's it, our plan's configured and will automatically run at 12 o'clock. So let's see what that looks like from a user perspective. So I'm going to move my user account into the validating process. If you remember, that was one of the criteria that the ESM servicing plan was looking for. The other criteria was that a particular value has been set. So if we check the tab over here, we can see that that user validation checkbox has been enabled. Okay. So now we're going to launch the ESM servicing plan, and my user account will receive an email and also move into a new process. So let's jump across into the ESM administration, and if we scroll down to the bottom, we can manually start the plan. Obviously this would normally happen automatically, but we're just kicking this off manually for the purposes of this demo. So now that's run, let's switch back to our user module. And we can see that my user account has now moved into survey sent, and I've also got an email containing the user validation survey. So I'm going to keep this here because we'll come back to this, but let's jump back into Management Studio and I'll show you the second way that we can use automation to help improve the workflow. Now I'm in the administration section, so I'm just going to go into the user migrations module and load the surveys menu. So I want a piece of code to run when a user submits their user validation survey. So let's just quickly show you how that's done. We've selected the right survey and I'm going into PS CSS.js. In the onSubmit PowerShell section, I'm pasting in my code. There are lots of examples of PowerShell on our knowledge base, so do check there for more information. I'm going to save that out and we'll say OK. The user account we're going to be looking at is mine, and at the moment it is in survey sent. That was moved as part of the ESM plan that we created a few moments ago. So let's open the email and we'll launch the survey. Let's scroll to the bottom of this. I'm not too concerned about the values, and we'll click pass. So if we jump back into Management Studio, we can see that my account has now moved into the survey pass process, and obviously you can add code there to deal with failed surveys as well. You could also look to move the user through these subsequent phases in the workflow by adding additional ESM plans. So maybe when they're in the survey pass, ESM will automatically send them a booking email and generate their self-schedule links. These are just two ways in which automation can help. We've got a lot more information on our website in the use case editions, and also as part of your engagement when you first start working with us, one of our consultants will spend time to help build some of these plans out for you. So the last thing I want to cover in this video is Management Studio's auditing capability. This is a great way of being able to see what has happened to a particular object, when and by whom. So here we are in the Applications module. I'm going to view the Adobe Acro tray. We can see that quite a lot has happened to this application since it was created. It's gone through the workflow, we've had notes attached, we've got contacts, device links and user links as well. So if we switch to our history view, we can see every single change that's happened to this application since it was first created. Just on the third row down, I can see a particular contact was added. And if I scroll along, I can see that that was added by the Management Studio admin account and on the 16th of November. We can also change the type of information that we're looking at. So this is just changes to the Details tab, but I can also look at the links that have been created. So we've got a user migration and a device there. And also we can view any test sign-off, surveys and custom forms that have been submitted against this application. So that's one application. Let's take a look at how we do this for multiple applications. I've just selected a few applications from the grid and I'm going to load the history report from the ribbon. I'll specify a start date back in November sometime, and I'll keep the end date as it is. And this is going to show us every change that's happened to those applications since the 1st of November. We can filter on properties if we want to, so maybe we just want to see applications that have had notes added. We can copy this information into the clipboard, or we can export it into Excel or CSV. We could even put this into a pivot chart and manipulate the information further. But having access to this level of detail means you can break out into much more detailed reports. Maybe you want to start to track how long applications are spending in a particular process. This information allows you to do that. So these are just some of the ways that we control data within Management Studio and help you make informed business decisions. If you'd like to learn more, visit the contact page on the website and we'll set up a personalised session. If you found this video useful, please sign up to the newsletter so that we can tell you when we're releasing more content like this. I've been Matt Walker, thanks for watching.